When you first moved into a new house, what was the biggest DIY fail that you found? Well, in my parents' new home that I'm helping to renovate for them, it is the back porch patio posts. You can see that there's actually no supports whatsoever underneath the posts that are supporting the overhang, which means that they have slowly been sinking into the ground and cracking the pavers underneath them. So I am going to fix this. And to do that, I use my laser measure to figure out the perfect length for these temporary supports that I'm putting in place. They're just pressure treated 2x4 pine, and I used a rubber mallet to hammer them up until they were perfectly level. And I wanted them to be a really tight fit so that they are supporting the weight of the overhang rather than the posts themselves, so that I can remove those safely. I used 6 of these supports, which kind of totals 3 4x4s, which is what I'll be removing as I'm working. Once I got this temporary wall in place, it was time for me to remove the first post. All I had to do was remove the old screws that had put this together. Unfortunately, some of the screws were put in place before the roof was put on and were at angles that are impossible to remove after. So I got a little desperate and tried a few measures to try to whack it out of place. It did not work. And what I had to end up using was a drill to excavate the screw out of the 2 pieces of wood. Of course, that created a large hole that I will patch later, but it did release the post. And then something surprising happened. I found that there was somewhat of a support underneath. And so I thought, wait, does that mean that there's actually concrete footers underneath here that have been failing? What's happening? I couldn't figure it out. So I decided to do a little more exploration and started prying up some of the pavers. Once I got one up, it was a lot easier to get the others up. And I looked underneath and there was not a concrete footer, instead just a really long piece of rebar that had been stuck into the mud, which is, I guess, a better support than no support at all, but it definitely was not helping the support of this patio. Then I started digging the hole for the new concrete footers. We live in Texas in an area that does not have a frost line, but if you do have a frost line, you'll have to dig much deeper than this. So I was able to just do this with a shovel, but you may have to rent an auger and get your utility lines marked and all those things, but I was able to keep this pretty shallow. I cut a concrete form and I put it in the hole. I checked to make sure that it was level. And for this first one, I also used a plumb bob to find out where my anchor bolt would be, but I found out later that I didn't need to do that, and I'll show you why. I packed in a lot of dirt around the concrete form to keep it firmly in place, and then I got started on filling the footer. So first up, I put in a couple inches of gravel at the bottom just to allow for better drainage and to keep the concrete from coming in contact with the dirt directly. And then I did something that I really shouldn't have done and didn't need to do, which is that I stepped on and compressed the gravel. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, but I did. I don't think it hurt anything, but it didn't help with drainage later on, and I'll show you. Then I used some fast setting Quikrete concrete mix. This is super easy because you don't have to do any mixing ahead of time. You just pour it in. And then I used 3 pieces of rebar as extra supports and just popped those in. You want to do this after you add the concrete mix, because if you do it before and you pour in the concrete mix, it can create air pockets. And then I added in my anchor bolts to the center, and then I add in the water. And your bag of concrete mix will tell you how much water you need to add. The great thing about this Quikrete mix, because you don't have to pre-mix it, is the water just seeps in and turns it into hard concrete. But you can see I had an issue where it just was not draining easily through the concrete, and I think that's because I compressed the gravel, so don't do that. I had to use an extra piece of rebar to kind of stab at it and help the water find passageways down into the concrete mix. And then I realized that a better idea for finding where my anchor bolt should be would be to actually use the tiles and the hole that was in the tile for the rebar, because that is the exact center point of that post. So I just put the tiles back in place and used that to help me find where I would put my anchor bolts. At this point, the concrete was hardening up a bit, so I used my rubber mallet to pound that down. I wanted to make sure that only enough of the anchor bolt was sticking up for me to attach my bracket to, so just be careful of that. It's a bit of a Goldilocks situation where you need just the right amount of bolt sticking up so that you can attach your bracket to it, but not so much that it's too tall for your bracket. With this fast setting concrete mix, you have about 20 to 40 minutes of playtime before it starts to really set, so that can give you a little bit of wiggle room if you need to change the bolt location. So I let that set overnight. You don't really need to take that long, but I just wanted to be extra sure because the ground is also pretty wet. Then I replaced all of the patio pavers, and I'm using a Simpson strong tie and a powder coated black finish that I just think is really beautiful. And the nice thing about this too is it has an inch or so on the base that lifts up your post from the ground so that it's not coming in direct contact with puddling water. I used my wrench to tighten that up. I put the cover plate on, and then I was able to put my post back in place. But because I have this bracket that's a little bit higher now, I did need to cut off some of the post. So to get my new length, I used again my laser measure. Then I cut off part of the post, and then I popped it back in place with the bracket. I made sure as I was making my cuts to cut from the bottom so that all of the screw holes on the top would stay the exact same for when I screwed it back into the other wood pieces. You don't have to do that, but it just made things a little easier for me. I made sure I got it exactly back in the same position it was before. So once I'd reattached it from up top, it was time to attach it to the Simpson Strong Tie. You have to buy these bolts and screws separately, but they do look really nice once you get them in, and they are super secure. These are self-tapping screws, so you don't need to pre-drill. And I really love the finished look at the end, that black chunky hardware. It looks really nice. Then it was the same thing for the other two posts. And technically, because I put so many supports in place for that temporary wall, I could have done all the posts at once, but it took a while to dig everything out, and I kind of just didn't want to test my luck with removing multiple posts at once. So I just did one at a time, and that worked really well for me. But do whatever you want if you feel comfortable with the temporary supports you have. Then at the end, all I had to do was knock out the temporary supports. So I just used my rubber mallet to tap all these 2x4s out of place, set them to the side, and now this porch is completely supported, and it looks so nice. I love how these strong ties look on the post as well. I just think that adds like a nice extra touch, and it's no longer sinking, which is a huge bonus. So here's a reminder of what these posts looked like before: sinking, cracking these pavers, falling into the ground, and here is what they look like now. And I just think this looks so clean and beautiful, and I'm just so happy that I was able to fix this without, having to dismantle the patio. So if this is something you come across in a patio or a pergola or some other kind of structure that you buy where someone did not put any concrete footers in the ground, this is absolutely something that you can do without having to dismantle everything. You just put in a temporary wall and get to work.